I'm Nattylyn. I'm 36 years old. I had a turbulent life. I went into care when I was 6 years old. Although my school was quite inclusive, I was probably one of the only black children in the schools. I think that I probably fell in love with my reading teacher because I couldn't read, I couldn't write because my mum didn't take me to school because we had other issues to deal with in the house, as we do as care leavers. I kind of felt like I was included as any other child. I had a happy childhood when I went to school. Yeah, struggling from being able to read, being able to write. I fell in love with literature. I fell in love with the history. I fell in love with the sense that I could have an imagination, so that when I was there, I didn't have to be a foster kid. I didn't have to see social workers. I didn't have to be the black kid in the school. I could just be myself. So I had like a bit of an imaginary world where I could just get a sense of just being me. Before I knew it, I had the space to be able to write, get things wrong, practice, and having that faith that someone could believe in me from an early age. I wasn't the same as the black kids. I wasn't from a black community. I remember that when I was little, jerk chicken, rice and pea. But at the same time, I also remembered that I was living in a white household. You know, education, it was a white working class household. Education wasn't always seen as being something that was important. The foster carers weren't bothered about whether I achieved something at school. It was just about, what have you done today? I used to go to Writers Club, I joined chess club, I was down with the It Girls, I didn't have gold hoops, but I still enjoyed my experiences. Then when it got to like high school, there was an English teacher, oh my gosh, I love English, fell in love with her. She was like, Nattylyn, you can achieve anything you want to achieve. I was like, no, but like I've had no one that's believed in me like that before. I really don't think I'm in set 4 or something like that in English. She was like, no. By the time I'm done with you, you're going to be in set, like the set 1, basically, the top set. I was like, I'm not being in the top set. I don't want to be a complete geek chic out there for people to see and people to judge. And I thought, you know what, Nats, you can believe in yourself. And then that sense of creativity, I used to write stories and just write and write and write and write and write. And I used to leave the books at school because I knew that if I took them home, it'd be just shunned. They weren't really bothered about me. It was just back to home life, just not really being looked after. And also it was a dark place and I wanted to protect the sense of who I was at school. So from then I kind of kept going. She was like, yeah, Nats, how are you doing with your work? I was like, yeah, I'm doing okay. Before I knew it, I was moving up to the next set 3. The next year I moved up to set 2. And before you know it, by the end of the high school year, I was in set 1. So at home, I didn't have much contact with my mum, but the time that I did have, because she always used to be in mental health institutions in Bonial, Scotland, which I thought was just about bagpipes and sheep. So I just said to her, the rare chats that I did have, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, Mum, I want to be an English teacher. She's like, yeah, go on, you could be anything you want to be. So I thought, oh, okay, that's the thing for me. But anyway, let's cut a few years, let's cut a few teenage misdemeanors, you know what I'm saying? And let's move it on. So then basically I thought to myself, you know what, I can really be something. I challenged, advocated for myself that I wanted to have further education. I got myself into college, I got a pathway planning worker. One of the really negative memories that she said to me was, why my kids don't get what you get? You get money, you get this, you get that. What makes you think you can go to uni? I was like, why can't I go to uni? I'm the same as anybody else. Yeah, I'm black and I'm proud, and what? So therefore, basically, I kept challenging and challenging. I was like, no, this is what I want to do. Left care, didn't want to give the money to the foster carers for me to be in education and then me having to pay rent. I basically moved it on, progressed, basically decided to get into looking after other people's kids, because that's what you do when you've been in care, you want to care for others. I thought, no, that's not enough. And then kept going. I got onto an access course early because I was 19 and I got gifted and talented. And then basically I thought, yeah, I want to go to uni, I want to make a difference and I can do this. And that's when I realised I was amongst my peers. Some of them were getting posh cars and getting, bare things bought for them. I was juggling between running a house, not staying in halls, making that decision. Basically, I got my BA Honours degree in Childhood Studies. After that, I hadn't had enough, had my low points, contacted Samaritans, got lower, thought, nah, man, self-harm is not for me, suicide isn't for me. I'm living and I'm breathing and I've got my literature. And in my imagination, the stories were going, I loved Roald Dahl, I loved the BFG when he went into Sophie's world. So all the times when I was going through a lot of, not very nice thoughts. I used to lay in my head to rest on a night time. I used to think, you know what, I'm going to be Sophie. I'm the black version of Sophie. And the BFG might not be coming for me today, but I know I've got my dreams, I've got my imagination, and I've got aspiration, and I know I can achieve. And after that, I thought, I'm still not satisfied, so I went and did a post-grad, had a little boy in between that time. All those children's books that I loved when I was little, I introduced him to Ladybird books. I was a bit of another geek chic, and the only black person in the library, but it's okay. I took my little boy, took him, I said, you know what, son? Believe in yourself. No matter what anyone says, you can never take away your education. You can liberate yourself through education. You can develop a sense of who you are. You can get lost. Even if mummy's having a bad time with you, and you know, I'm raising a boy child, you know how they are. But you can fall in love with books. So he just surprised me, and his love for literature is amazing. And he's got that from me. He's a writer, he does things for the BBC, he does his little thing, you know, he's got all his dreams. After that, I thought, you know what, this still isn't enough. I went on and did a master's degree. My postgrad took 7 years, because let's face it, I had a child and I was on my own, went through the struggles. Then I had my master's degree, and then I just thought, you know what, keep going, keep fighting. It's never enough. No one can take education away from you.